If you're looking to buy Hyliion stock, then please keep watching this video because we're going to take a look at the company's recent news, how the market's treating it, and what are the technicals suggesting. In the end, we're going to try to come up with a trading approach for Hyliion for the time being. As the market remains volatile, we should always be mindful of which positions to pick, as well as their individual timing and exposure. Before today's video begins, if you would like to see more stock analysis videos like this one, please consider to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Over the past few months, Hyliion has been trying to find a support level that's going to be able to hold its ground through time, so that we have something to rely on to hope for. So far, I have to say that this objective has been only partially fulfilled at best. Hyliion's share price has been going down over the past few years at this point, and just over the past 52 weeks, it went down by another 47%. The main reason behind this might be the lack of interest from shareholders and that the entire sector might be losing steam when the economy is that gloomy. The $2 level is now the new ceiling, and I believe that we won't be getting there for the rest of the year. For the next couple of years, Hyliion needs to demonstrate that it can trigger investors' interest by rolling out actual products with real market demand, which they have not been able to do so for the past few years. Now, let's also take a look at what the technicals are saying. The trading volume of Hyliion has been around 622,000 shares versus the average trading volume of 1.3 million shares. Over the previous 52 weeks period, the price fluctuated between $1.15 and $3.88. The volume of shares traded tells us how many shares have been bought and sold, and if there's enough liquidity to support a trading strategy. If the float is thin, it would be easy to influence the stock price, but low liquidity can also mean that the demand is limited too. When we compare the current volume against the average volume, there might be the possibility for a trend reversal or a breakthrough if the difference is very large. For instance, if the stock were to break through, the current volume would be significantly higher than the average volume. The market cap of Hyliion is currently around $216 million versus the enterprise value of $188 million. As we compare the current price to the historical fluctuations, the stock is 7% higher than the 1-month low, 7% higher than the 3-month low, and 7% higher than the 52 weeks low. In other words, it's very low at the moment. It's barely above its historical low, in other words. On the options market, which often gives us a hint about the market sentiment, the implied volatility is 53% compared to the historical volatility of 60%. So the put-call volume ratio is currently at 0%. In other words, nobody believes that it's going to keep going down. And the most recent volume of options traded is 17 contracts within a day versus the 30-day average of 324 contracts. Regarding the open interest, the most recent volume of open interest is 38,000 contracts versus the 30-day average of 38,000 contracts as well. Regarding the shareholder structure, institutional shareholders own 30% of the outstanding shares. The biggest shareholders include BlackRock, Vanguard, and iShares. It's always good to see some institutional participation when holding a stock long term. It offers a layer of stability and token reliability in the medium to long run. It means that the market believes that this company can deliver more value in the long term than trading in and out in the short term. So, when it comes to Hyliion, I would say that 30% is something, given the circumstances. But then again, it kind of proves the point that because they're institutional shareholders, they don't really care about the short-term volatilities. And obviously, this stock has gone through some significant volatilities. But they don't have to care. They have the time, they have all the time in the world to wait. So the current short interest is around 10% of the total float, 45% of which come out from the dark pools. The short interest is currently about 15% and a significant chunk of it from the dark pools. It may suggest that there are institutional positions taken to short the stock and that there will be potentials for a short squeeze. So at 9%, I wouldn't say that there is any sort of potential for any short squeeze. The stock is low for fundamental reasons and also for trend-related reasons. So right now, the global markets are facing a complex interplay of factors that have the potential to significantly influence the equities worldwide. In this speculative analysis, I believe that the consequences of the global inflation, surging commodity prices, and declined quantitative easing, as well as the rise of inflation rates or interest rates, plus the geopolitical instabilities, are going to play a significant part. The increasing inflation rate has been putting pressures across the globe, threatening the purchasing power, raising the input costs, and impacting corporate profitability. Companies operating internationally may face challenges in managing rising production costs and also to sustain profit margins. Those dynamics could trigger market volatility as investors adjust their risk-return expectations. The upward trajectory of commodity prices, including energy, metals, agricultural products, have been having far-reaching implications for various sectors of the global equities market. The companies heavily dependent on these commodities may experience squeezed profit margins, potentially affecting stock valuations and investor sentiment. The reduction or the end of QE's quantitative easing measures by the central banks worldwide may have resulted in reduced market liquidity. So this in turn could lead to higher borrowing costs for companies seeking capital, which may also discourage investment activities or will. The elevated market volatility plus the reduced investors' appetite may also continue to occur. Now, the central banks around the world are tackling this delicate situation of balancing the inflation rates with the economic stability and, if possible, growth. Central banks opted for aggressive interest rate hikes to combat inflations. Borrowing costs for companies have been rising, which has also slowed down business activities and also fueling the market's volatility in terms of the equity prices. Now, ongoing geopolitical tensions, including trade disputes, political uncertainties, and social unrests, will inject an additional element of volatility into the global markets. Investors may adopt a cautious approach, shifting towards safer assets, impacting the equities. Additionally, the escalating conflicts may disrupt supply chains, negatively impacting the performance of international companies. Given the interconnectedness of global markets, the aforementioned factors have reverberating effects on the US equities market. Companies with significant exposure to international market may face a lot of headwinds resulting from the economic slowdowns, disrupting the supply chains and the currency fluctuations. But nevertheless, the US market is known for its resilience, and the diverse sectors may attract investors seeking safe havens. So really, the current landscape is characterized by global inflation, surging commodity prices, reduced quantitative easing, rising central bank inflation rates, geopolitical instabilities, and also ongoing lack of certainty regarding growth. While the US market may exhibit relative strength due to the safe haven status, it's going to remain interconnected with the global economic landscape. For long-term investors, these conditions may offer opportunities to identify undervalued companies with strong fundamentals and international diversification. With that being said, short-term trades should be approached with caution because of the increased volatility and uncertainty. And also, we should be careful when assessing individual companies, sectors, or regions. If you're looking to buy Hyliion stock, then please keep watching this video because we're going to take a look at the company's recent news, how the market's treating it, and what are the technicals suggesting. In the end, we're going to try to come up with a trading approach for Hyliion for the time being. As the market remains volatile, we should always be mindful of which positions to pick, as well as their individual timing and exposure.